Sure, it's uncomfortable, sometimes miserable working in the cold, but can it really be dangerous? Absolutely. Exposure to cold, not even extreme cold, can be very dangerous and even life-threatening if not properly managed. There are two conditions you need to watch out for: frostbite and hypothermia. It's important that you understand what each of these are, their signs and symptoms, and what to do if you recognize one of these in yourself or others. You've all heard of frostbite. Frostbite occurs when skin and body tissue actually begin to freeze due to exposure to cold. The first sign of frostbite will be tingling, generally in the extremities, but it could be in any surface exposed to the cold. Usually you'll feel the tingling in your fingers, toes, ears, cheeks, or nose. Now this isn't a pleasant little tingle. This is like pins and needles sticking you. As frostbite progresses, affected skin can look pale or waxy and can become hard. If you experience any of these symptoms or are working with anyone experiencing them, here's what you should do. Get out of the weather and into a warm, dry place. Remove any wet clothing. If possible, put the affected area in a warm water bath. The water should not be hot or running, and don't rub the area thinking you'll stimulate blood flow. Rubbing can actually do damage. Now the idea is to warm the tissue slowly. Once normal feeling has returned to the area, keep it warm and get medical attention to ensure that there's no lasting damage. Frostbite is no joke. If untreated, you can lose tissue, fingers, especially toes. Now, unless the air temperature is below 32 degrees, you can't get frostbite, but you certainly are susceptible to the second condition I mentioned, hypothermia. Rather than affecting an area of skin like frostbite, hypothermia affects your core body temperature. Normal body temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Hypothermia occurs when your core body temperature falls to or below 95 degrees. Hypothermia can occur from long exposure to cold, short exposure to extreme cold, or immersion in cold water. Warning signs are uncomfortable or uncontrollable shivering, bluish, cold skin, slurred speech, loss of coordination, exhaustion, and irrational behavior, all caused by the cooling of the blood and organs, especially the brain. If any of these symptoms are present, action needs to be taken immediately because the situation can get bad quickly and could even lead to death. It's best to get the person to a warm, dry place, but before you do, call 911. Once inside, remove any wet clothing and wrap the person up in warm clothes or blankets. Don't put the person or any part of them in water. That could actually make them colder. Give them warm, sugary drinks and avoid caffeine drinks. Don't rub them, but try to get them to move their arms and legs to generate some internal heat, and it's important to keep them awake. Remember, it doesn't have to be extremely cold to suffer hypothermia. Anytime you're working in water or get soaked in cold weather, hypothermia is a very real and dangerous possibility. I can't stress this enough. Hypothermia can be deadly. You're probably thinking, hey, we don't work in the Arctic here. True, but Arctic temperatures aren't necessary to put you in a world of hurt, especially if you get wet. Remember what I told you about how the first layer of clothes next to your skin should be a material that wicks moisture away from your body? This is why, guys. And your outer layer should be wind and waterproof. It's very important to stay dry in the cold and to have extra socks or gloves to change into if you do get wet. If your feet are soaked or for hours at a time, not only will it make you uncomfortable and cold, but you could also get trench foot. Any of you guys who are foot sloggers in the military remember how much attention was given to foot care. Remember your feet, keep your feet warm and dry, and you should be able to keep the rest of you warm. So let's review. Frostbite can affect exposed skin. The best way to prevent it is to cover your skin to keep it from being exposed. If you or someone in your crew shows signs of frostbite, get inside and warm the tissue slowly without rubbing the exposed area. Get medical attention to make sure no damage was done. Hypothermia is loss of core body temperature. If core body temperature drops below 95 degrees, you're in trouble. You'll shake uncontrollably, turn blue, begin to lose coordination, and act irrationally. You need to get out of the weather fast to a dry, warm place and call 911. You want to regain your body temperature gradually and get and stay dry. We all have to work in the cold, so let's do it smart and let's do it safe.